Hi, this is part 2 of our excursion into South Luangwa National Park in Zambia. If you haven't seen the first part, there should be a link at the top of your screen now. We descended the mountain into the bush and had spent a night at a ranger's camp where we should have been told to turn back by guards there and at guarded posts long before this. Unaware that we were in a national park, we decided to continue to another camp ahead of us, hoping for an improvement in road quality so we could reach the connecting road to take us back to civilization. The sand is deeper and harder to navigate than the Sahara Desert, and I've been stung by disease more times than I can count, and I've already picked up a disease now. This was a mistake, and at this rate we'll be out of here in 4 days.
Here we are in the blistering heat, trying to sterilize some water because we ran out. Let's have a look.
Things have gotten somewhat desperate. We're about 4k from a known camping place, and then there's like nothing after that for 90k. It's taken us 3-4 hours to travel 10k, so we have to hope there's someone with a jeep who can take us without ripping us off, or I don't really know what we're going to do.
I think what's important to know is that we gathered as much information as possible about this, but there isn't much information to gather about this route to begin with. So we kind of took a leap of faith, and we had no idea it was this gnarly. But we've been pushing on. We've had the first day now, of which we both thought was pretty wild that we got through that, and let's just see what happens at the campsite. We'll fingers crossed. We'll hope somebody finds us.
I put some marmalade in the river water we've boiled to try and get rid of the taste. I just need to wait for it to cool down, and then we're doing some more there. We're only doing like 16k today. It was meant to be the easy day, so we could push tomorrow the 100k, but we've only like done 10k and we're like already bear grillsing it. And we keep seeing loads of huge animal shit
Elephant shit.
Elephant shit. Luckily everything's like sleeping at the moment, probably. But you never know what's out there. We arrived to the rangers' camp very dehydrated and hungry, and set about collecting water from the river immediately to boil and then drink. This was a rangers' camp that was frequented by anti-poaching squads who patrol around. We were allowed to camp there, although we had no idea at this point how long we'd be staying, as we spent a lot of the time there trying to radio through to different people to try and get picked up. This is the river of the camp, and it's how local people all over this continent, actually in many other places around the world, get all their water for drinking, for washing their clothes, and for washing anything really. And it became our lifeline too when we're at any of these camps. We were also taught that evening how to make a traditional African fire, the difference being instead of stacking up sticks getting smaller and smaller, they use a selection of logs that they lay on the floor, which then meet in the middle, which forms a kind of cook plate for putting your pot on. The benefit of this being it's much easier to relight the fire in the morning, because fires like this are the main method of cooking for many people.
I'm just gonna kind of clean the pot, yeah.
We had quite an eventful day yesterday. After we got to the intended campsite, we met some of the guys here and found out that we're actually in a national park, even though that isn't stated on any maps. And that causes a bit of a problem because we're not actually allowed to go further. So one of the guys radioed the head office to see if we could be picked up, and they said we could be picked up for $1,000 and we had to pay park entry for being here. We have to find another way out of here. We were asking, can we go back up the way we came? And they said no, it's not possible with bike. But we used that way to get here. So there was something that was sorted. We should be heading towards a different village that should have cars that can take us out of here, not for $1,000.
Supposedly for free, because they're park rangers. But we'll see.
Yeah, here's hoping. We had lots of elephants in the night. We had cheetah, hyena. Not so excited about them. Buffalo, yeah. Unfortunately, nothing's seen yet. You just hear a lot happening at night, and then everything's gone in the daytime.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see what today has in store with another jungle trek. We waited a day at the camp and had no luck, and the day after we became friends, particularly with one of the guides called Michael, who said that he and the group could take us back the way we came. They were going most of the way anyway, and we would need to spend one more night before either getting a lift or making our way back up the mountain to try and get a lift again, as at the top of the mountain there would be more cars. At this point we had eaten most of our food. The crossing was only meant to take 2 days, and we had brought 5 days of food with us, and on the last days we were down to our last bit of porridge and definitely feeling the effects, which made, as you can imagine, filming our way back quite difficult, in addition to finding the energy to move our legs. On our way back to the first camp, one of the soldiers started setting fire to the ground in many different places, and Nadia and I panicked because naturally that's how wildfires start. The forests here are quite different, so the rangers are starting these fires to burn all of the long dry straw which the animals don't want to eat, and we were amazed that the fire was touching trees that were growing but they weren't catching on fire at all. And the reason they start these fires is so that all the dry straw can burn away and so new shoots can grow, making new food for all the big game in the park. Unfortunately, at the last camp, we realised we couldn't get a lift. We met a German family in a car, but they were driving the wrong way. And so on our last day, we ended up climbing the mountain with the group of rangers who had changed their plans because one of them had started feeling malaria symptoms, and so they needed to go back to the kind of main camp quicker. The rangers we met all ended up living at the top of the mountain, which was the village we had passed through coming down, with lots of dancing women, and lots of these women ended up being their wives. And although I didn't film this, we had an evening where I had quite a few drinks of a local moonshine that they make out of fermented millet. Not the nicest tasting drink, but we had quite a fun night. And later on in the night we ended up unexpectedly getting picked up and taken back to the original city where we'd started.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Can you film me?
But not to the altitude.
Not the